stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX. J-Way. I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless. I'm gone. Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck. Into the trends. See a lead, be the band.
Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June. It's been a while, Foster. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm glad that the preseason is over, man. I'm ready for some real football.
Yeah, I mean, preseason is just the gateway to what's going on, man. I mean, got to have a preseason to have a season. So, unfortunately for us, though, we don't get to see any of our starters during preseason at all.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, we'll talk some more about that. But before we get into the show, I want to remind everyone to please subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube. That's been so long, Foster, I don't even know where the stuff is no more. Subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube. Make sure you're following us on all the aggregators. That's anywhere you can listen to a podcast. Just type in Bleachers and Speakers, FFSN for the audio. Follow us. Make sure that the notification bell is on, so when we drop content, you'll get an alert and download those episodes. Foster, there's a pros and cons to everything. And one of the things the past, I want to say 3 years, we haven't had the chance to watch any of our starters during preseason. And I think it was most notable last year to me as far as the offense goes, because our offense was so explosive last year. But in the first couple of games, it was kind of slow. We barely got a win versus the Rams. And that could have been kudos to their defense as well. Now, don't want to take anything from the Rams, but we lost game number 2 to Tampa Bay where we couldn't generate enough points. Now, their defense is pretty good as well. But after that, you started to see the offense pick up. It was a track meet after that, you know what I'm saying? So we didn't have too much trouble scoring or moving the football after that. But I think it took a couple of games. And this year is could be kind of difficult in the beginning. It's like the first couple of games because new offensive coordinator. We haven't had the preseason play again, and that's just not the offense, the defense as well. So, and I think with the offense we had last year, it was a rhythm offense, right? So, if Goff starts off hot, it's going to be a long day for defenses. You've seen a couple instances where he started off 15 for 15, 11 for 11. And you know it's going to be a long day for that defense on the other side. So that brings me to question, Foster, would you rather start off slow on offense and preserve your players, or do you want to see them out there and, shake the rust off in the preseason?
I'd rather start slow. There's definitely some value to getting working up a rhythm early in the year in the preseason. I think there's some value there, but I think that you take the slow starts, knowing that when it matters the most, we'll be in a good groove, we'll be healthy, because we have dealt with quite a few injuries, and
Lord have mercy, yes.
Yeah, and we can ill afford to, in certain instances, we can ill afford to have something detrimental. I mean, granted, you save them for the first couple weeks of preseason, but that's not to say that that they can't get hurt when the regular season starts. But at least you can say it meant something. These games in the preseason mean absolutely nothing. So, it's a veteran group. We're kind of inexperienced on the interior side of things, which is an area to be concerned about. But overall, we're not. There's no use in trying to fix something that wasn't broke. We've had 2 very successful years over the past years under the same philosophies.
Right. And then I'd rather not risk risk a player getting injured, and like one of your star players go down in the preseason. It's gonna be like, for what? Right? I mean, injuries can happen at any time, but if they happen in the preseason, you're gonna be mad. As a fan of your team, you're gonna be highly upset. So
And you go against other guys that have as much to lose as you. Whereas when you got starters going out there, you're going up against some reserve guys that are playing for their lives and putting their bodies on the line. I'm sure there's a certain reckless abandon that certain guys play with, who realize that this may be their only opportunity to play in the NFL. So you want to have equal stake in things. I think when you got Jared Goff in there against somebody's
6th round pick defensive end that's trying to get a plate.
Hello. And I don't think it's a perspective that people really talk about or think about is the fact that you got some guys out there that ain't got nothing to lose. They out there playing, 6-figure checks.
Yeah, he's trying to knock somebody's shoulders off. I'm gonna show you I can be here. So
That's what I would do.
Yeah. So for me, I'd rather. It hasn't been disastrous though, their philosophy, right? Don't play anybody in the preseason, and it hasn't been like something that was detrimental to our success the past couple of years. It's just, last year was most notable as far as the slow start with the offense. So you start off last year 1-1 because the offense really wasn't cranking like it should. But I think when you have 2,000-yard backs, 2,000-yard wide receivers, a 4,000-yard passer, and a very a tight end that's on the way to being an All-Pro, there's going to be a question about the interior of the offensive line, of course, with some changes there. But I think I'd rather just not play them. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. We still got a couple of weeks left till we see till game 1. So, but which brings my next subject, the roster. Foster, there's some talent on this roster, and I think it's to the point where there are going to be some names. There's a saying, everybody can't go, right? And they usually use that saying to your journey, but in reference to a person's journey. But I'm going to say this with the football team: everybody can't go. There's always a notable cut out of nowhere where that come from? Like, I think last year was Isaiah Williams was one of those guys. I mean, he tweeted, "What did I do?" after he got cut. So there's going to be some cuts because that's the thing that happens when you put together a team with talent. Somebody's not going to make it, right? And there's some people on this team that have performed in preseason, performed in practice, that have earned their way. And I think there's going to be some questions. I don't want to make any predictions, but it's going to be some questions because I put it like this, and this is the first person I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about Tim Patrick, right? And I'm not saying this because of what what Isaac Tesla has been doing. I don't think that's enough to make Tim Patrick go away, but it's other wide receivers as well. So it's not just what Tesla has been doing. I think one of the things that you look at as a possibility is the wide receiver room is a very deep room as of right now. St. Brown's not going anywhere. He's a starter. You got J-Mo. He's not going anywhere. He's just starter. Tim Patrick was a starter last year. Tesla is making the roster. It's just a matter of how much he's going to play. That's 4, right? You also got Levet. That's 5. What's the other guy that made all the noise? Number 83. I don't remember his name.
Meeks. Jackson Meeks.
Meeks. That's 6. I'm missing someone.
Raymond. Did you say
Khalif Raymond?
Yeah.
That's 7. Do you keep 7 wide receivers?
I think so. All the people we named, that's 7 right there.
I believe so. Let's go over it again. Starters: St. Brown, J-Mo, Tim Patrick, Khalif Raymond, Tesla, Meeks, Levet. That's 7, right?
Yeah.
Do you keep 7?
I think that's one.
Rare.
I think that's one too many, but it's gonna.
It's rare. You never see a team keep 7. They usually keep 5 or 6.
But could we keep 6 with a? Is it irresponsible to keep 7 overall and put 1 on the practice squad, or is that more acceptable?
That's a possibility. And also with today's game, fullback is not being. That takes up a roster spot. So. You can get rid of a fullback position because if you don't use a fullback, you could add an extra wide receiver or extra tight end. Most of the time it's a tight end because that's the H-back tight end type of thing, hybrid. Instead of the fullback, they add an extra tight end. That's what they do. But I just don't think you can get rid of what Lovett can do in special teams and what Meeks has done in the preseason. It's going to be very difficult to say bye.
I think Patrick has the value. He's in a position where he actually has value, and I think there's some teams that could utilize him as a number 3. I think the one thing that makes him expendable is that he's not I think, outside of J-Mo and St. Brown, who you don't want to use on special teams, I think that Meeks, Levet, Tesla, they are all guys that you can use on special teams, whereas Patrick is not that type of person. So with Tesla, now if we didn't go out and get Tesla and fulfill that big body receiver role, I think Patrick has a more prominent role. But I don't think Patrick is as important because Tesla can fulfill that obligation. So you'd be hard pressed putting Meeks up there to because I think you have to clear waivers to be on the special or on the practice squad, right?
I believe so.
I think Meeks gets picked up.
He gets picked up. He definitely gets picked up.
Yeah.
With what he did in the preseason, he gets picked up.
So you gotta protect. I feel like you gotta protect him. I think Levet. I think they like him. I think there's still some areas that he needs to improve on. I think he had a couple of drops, but I think you take your chance. I think you're more likely to take your chance with him being a rookie, completely unproven to top-notch competition. I don't think anybody goes after him, but I think they're in a position to where if they can get a late draft pick for Tim Patrick, I think that they take that opportunity because he's redundant and he's older. He's like 31 years old and he was healthy last year, but he did have 2 season-ending injuries prior to coming to Detroit. So, clearly outplayed by Tesla by kind of a long shot. So, I think he ends up being the odd man out given age, his not having the same versatility as some of the younger guys to play special teams. I think that he becomes the odd man out in that situation.
It makes me wonder how good Tesla has been in practice versus has he gone against the ones? Because if he's making these same plays, Patrick got to definitely be looking over his shoulder. Got to be. And you hit the nail right on the head, pause if applicable. But those other guys, special teamers, Levet, special team, whether it's a return man or a gunner on the outside, you know what I'm saying, that makes him a little bit more valuable as a wide receiver. I don't want to say more valuable than Tim Patrick because I don't want to disrespect him, but as far as valuable as far as the team, when you can play, when they can count on you for special teams, as a wide receiver, you have a better shot of making the roster. So that's going to be interesting to see what they do with the wide receiver position because we got 7, and I think all 7 of them are pretty good, and I think one of them is the odd man out. And it's going to be very interesting to see which one it is. If it's not Tim Patrick, that means he's been playing lights out in practice. And if he holds that starter position over Tesla, that means he's really been doing what he's supposed to do. I think you'll see Tesla, but if Tim Patrick is your starter, that means he's working. Let's take a quick break, and there's another position group I want to talk about where there's a popular person from the Lions that I think should be kind of careful because he could be on the chopping block as far as the 53-man roster. And what's more sadly is I don't think there's a lot of value in trading because we mentioned Tim Patrick. Maybe you can package that deal with Tim Patrick and get something. But I think this person has kind of messed himself over as far as trade value. But we'll talk more about this on the other side. If you're listening, you're going to hear some ads. If you're watching, give us about 10 seconds and we'll be right back. I ain't even gonna hold you up, man. I'm talking about Hendon Hooker, bro. There's no fancy intro. I can't, I'm just gonna say it. First of all, he was a high draft pick. If you're gonna take a quarterback, if you have Goff as your quarterback and you take this guy, that means you really believe in this guy. Now he was recovering from an ACL injury. So we knew that first year he was not going to be productive at all. It was more like a learning year with the playbook and recovery, right? But this year, I think this is year what? Is it 3 or 4 for him? Year 3.
3.
Year 3. And he gets outplayed by Kyle Allen. Let's just keep it above. And not only does he get outplayed by Kyle, Tim, he was out of Tennessee, that quarterback, yes. He was on his way to a Heisman, I believe, as well, until he tore his ACL. This is just my personal opinion. He was in the Heisman running for sure. So not only does he get outplayed by Kyle Allen, he plays horrible in a couple of games. In the first preseason game, Kyle Allen didn't play that well, and Hooker played worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just bad. Yeah, it was just bad. I think he had was that the game he had 2 fumbles, or was that a different game? Hendon Hooker had 2 fumbles.
He had 2 fumbles in, I think, the first game that he got a chance to start in.
Yeah. So he showed flashes, but he showed a lot of inaccuracy in his passes and turning the ball over. Where Kyle Allen got better every game. Every game he got better. Now, I didn't see the last game. I didn't pay attention to the last game. But Kyle Allen visibly outplayed Hendon Hooker. Now, the problem is with this, right? Most teams do keep 3 quarterbacks. They do. They definitely do. So it's very possible that he could be our number 3 because he for sure is not the number 2 anymore. I'm convinced about that. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not in the front office. I'm not a member of the coaches. But he definitely shouldn't be your number 2, right? He should be your number 3. Now, the crazy thing about it is, and I don't want to jinx it, but Goff hasn't missed a start. He hasn't missed a start. That might make you think, do we need 3 quarterbacks? You know what I'm saying? So it's enough to make you think, well, maybe we don't need 3 quarterbacks. Now, I don't know. And then on top of it, with the way he played, what can you trade him for? Who is licking their chops for we can get Hendon Hooker right now? I just don't. There's, and then if you do trade him, what do you expect to get in return for him? It's not a lot. What, 6th round pick, 7th round pick, 5th round pick, if you're lucky?
Yeah, I think 7th at best.
I mean,
7th at best is.
But I get what you're saying.
Cash considerations, is that a thing in football?
I mean, come on, man. I mean, cash has never been a problem here as far as with the roster. I mean, they, the Lions have Brad Holmes he's been bargain shopping. So it's like, trading for cash consideration, like you might just, I don't know, you might just better off keeping him as your 3rd quarterback and hold the clipboard, and just let him play out his contract and, but that's one position that's going to be interesting. And that's going to be one cut that I wouldn't be surprised if they said, okay, Hendon Hooker, it's over. But we'll see. A lot of teams do keep 3 quarterbacks, though. They do. What do you think, Foster? Do we keep 3?
I mean, when you say that the vast majority of teams do keep a 3rd quarterback, one being what, practice squad, right? You don't think you don't dress 3, right?
No, you don't dress 3.
Yeah, so I think that he is well, for one, I'm going to tell you this: if he wasn't a 3rd round pick, he would not have been given the opportunities that he has been afforded. That's just kind of the elephant in the room, because outside of his athletic ability, he hasn't really showed too much of anything outside of that. But I think that if the plan was to carry 3, I think that Kyle Allen, I think his job would be more in danger if we didn't have somebody that played well enough to make us comfortable about our backup. Based on what I've seen, I am comfortable with Kyle Allen being, coming in for a game or 2 if Jared Goff, God forbid, got injured and had to miss, a full game. Then I think that we would be more prone to go out and find somebody because, But as far as holding the clipboard and only getting an opportunity to play if the 1st and the 2nd string quarterback got hurt, I think that Hendon Hooker can hold that down. Unfortunately,
he should be able to hold the clipboard down.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But let me ask you this, Foster. Last year we had Goff, Bridgewater, and Hooker. Was he on the PU practice squad or was he on the field? That's your answer, whether the 3rd person goes to the practice squad or not.
Right. So I don't know if we carried. Last year I don't think we carried 3 because we ended up.
I'm not sure.
Well, no, because Bridgewater actually retired last year. He came out of retirement late in the year, and we just ended up being able to sign them and use them. So I think we only carried 2 last year.
Yeah, I don't know. But I know Bridgewater was your second string quarterback.
Yeah, but he wasn't for most of the year. He coached high school and won a state championship. It wasn't until December that he worked his way back into the fold. So we might have carried 2, unless that third person we just got rid of and went and got Bridgewater. But Bridgewater was retired for a vast majority of last year. He
was. But that it just we have to do. I have to do some research and see what happened while he was coaching high school football, because Hendon Hooker was your number 2,
right?
And not. It's even more interesting now with the way Hendon Hooker has been playing. Why did you go back and why'd you bring Bridgewater back? And why was he your number 2?
Well, case in point, I mean, the way he's played in the preseason is a testament to why he wasn't the starter last year. Because if you think he was bad in the preseason, just imagine how bad he would have been if we had to throw him out there in the playoffs. So Teddy Bridgewater played in the playoffs last year.
Yeah. So this just tells me that Hendon Hooker just it ain't just this preseason he's having a rough time. He had to be the organization couldn't have been comfortable if you bring back a high school coach or bring in a high school coach to be your second string quarterback.
Well, I don't want to. I think Teddy is good enough to be a backup quarterback. I think he just chose to go that route. So I don't want to.
Man, he was out of football, and you have a second stringer here. You don't have that kind of confidence to bring Bridgewater in your second, and he's your second string.
Right.
So that tells me he's had some troubles a little bit longer than this preseason.
For sure. Yeah. No doubt about it.
I mean, it's safe to assume that. I don't know, but it's safe to assume that they weren't comfortable with who they had at number 2 majority of the season last year.
Yeah, which is why it was so, he's one of the people that we circled from the very beginning as like, this is your time to shine right here. And, the writing was on the wall that, hey, they didn't feel too comfortable with it.
Moving forward, I want to look beyond this year.
Damn.
I know it. Just quick quarterback talk.
Okay.
Is it time to look for a backup next year or a successor for Goff? At some point, it has to be addressed.
Yeah, I mean, I think you pencil in, you part ways with Hendon Hooker 100%, unless something. I can't even imagine how he would get another opportunity to play, because he would be the third string quarterback. So a lot would have to happen. But I think you bring back Kyle. I think you bring back Kyle Allen, and then you draft somebody within I don't know. We got to see how things play out, but I think you gotta draft somebody between the 2nd and 5th round to compete with Kyle Allen. We'll
get into this later. I mean, I jumped way off.
You did because a lot has to happen to even get to that point to where we're thinking about something, the draft next year.
Yeah. But, I just I couldn't help it. It is what it is. There's another player, Foster, and he's a fan favorite that I think could be on the chopping block, and he might not be popular to other people that are not Lions fans, but I think Pat O'Connor, he could be one to look out for, that position group where that D tackle group. You got to figure, you got DJ Reader, he's your starter. You drafted Tariq Williams, right? McNeil will be back October-ish, something like that. But his roster spot is safe. He will be a Lion, and he will be playing this year. You got the guy, what's his name, Keith Cooper. They love him. They love his versatility. I mean, he can play inside and outside. Wingo is back. You know, O'Connor might be on the outside looking in. Between him, it depends. I think Keith Cooper's versatility and him being younger, may get him the roster spot.
I think another thing that's going to hurt him is Broderick Martin miraculously having a good preseason as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I try not. I forgot about Broderick Martin, but he's gotten better every single game in the preseason. And the thing about him, they are really enamored with how big he is and how athletic he is. Like, they are really impressed with how, Broderick Martin, his physical stature and the way he can, how quick he is off the ball. So do you cut because they've been saying we don't think Broderick Martin is going to make it. We've been saying that for a couple of years now. But I think between those three, one of them is not going to make it, and that's Broderick Martin, Cooper, or Pat O'Connor. And I wouldn't be surprised because I think if you cut one of the two, I think if you cut Martin or Cooper, somebody will pick him up quick. Pat O'Connor, you can take a risk because he was out of the league for a little while last year. He's one of those people that if you cut him, and that's part of the game, you cut somebody that nobody else will want. So you might have hopes of get him on the practice squad. So clear waivers and get him on the practice squad. But we'll see. I think that's an interesting position to look at. We also have a lot of defensive backs. We also got a lot of running backs. We can talk about the running backs. We know there's two that ain't going nowhere, right? They usually keep 3 running backs, maybe 4. So Sonic and so we got we got Gibbs and we got Montgomery and Vaki. Vaki is an interesting thing because he has a bad hamstring. And he's been kind of on the injury bug this year. What's the other running back name? Sailor, something like that?
Yeah. What is it?
Saylor, I believe.
Yeah, I guess it is Sailor. Yeah.
I haven't watched him play, but I'm hearing his name a lot, that they like what he's been doing. Have you seen him play at all, Frost?
I have, yeah. Jake Sailors. That's what it is with the S on the end.
Sailors.
Yeah. Nothing. Jumps out at me and is life changing. But he's a younger option to Reynolds. Reynolds could be a guy that could possibly.
Not about Craig. Craig ain't going nowhere.
Okay, well, we know Siani Vaki is not going anywhere. Well, here's the tricky part that we don't know about. Those guys that end up on the PUP list that are scheduled to miss the first 4 games of the year, those open up. Those are people that you can kind of hold on to. The penalty being that you won't see them for the first 4 games, but that kind of messes up the math, if you will, because they don't account into the 53-man roster. So, and then also we have to take into consideration that a guy like Tim Patrick wasn't a part of our team throughout camp. We went and got him when the Broncos made their cuts. So you also got to account for us going out and finding somebody else that was, that another team, another team's trash per se was a prize for us. So that's what makes things tricky. But yeah, last year we kept Gibbs, Montgomery, Reynolds, and Vaki. And unless, like you said, Vaki's been in and out of the lineup, unless Vaki is going on the PUP list, there's no room for Sailors unless he takes Reynolds' job, which I don't think that he's done I think that Reynolds has done enough and has been around long enough to hold on to that spot. So
let me ask you something real quick before you mentioned something that's interesting, right?
mm-hmm.
If they're on the PUP, it doesn't count against the 53-man roster, right?
Right.
So, with that being said, is Aleem McNeil on the PUP? I would assume so.
Yes.
They can very well keep O'Connor and one of the other three that I mentioned, because that's a roster spot they don't have to account for. They can move one of them, like a Patrick O'Connor. They can move him back to the roster, to the practice squad. They can also move Cooper back, one of the two, to the roster. I didn't think about that. So McNeil.
Now, I think you can only have so many. You can't stash everybody on there.
On the practice squad?
On the pup list.
No, I ain't talking about the pup list. I'm like, okay, what I'm saying is, like, your D tackles, right? Aleem McNeil doesn't account for one of those positions.
Right.
And I was thinking there was one too many there. But if he's not accounting for one of those positions, you could keep all of those. And then when he comes back, you can move whoever to the practice squad, somebody to the practice squad.
Right.
I'm not well versed in it, so I don't know how it goes. But
yeah, it's tricky because it's all a numbers game. There's a whiteboard. You got about 40 guys that have solidified roles. Your Goffs, your Browns, your Gibbs, your Montgomerys. When you start knocking down those guys, your Hutches, your Anzalonis, your Barnes, when you start knocking down that list, it doesn't leave too many names. Like, and once you start writing down those names, you know the starters on both sides. That's 22 guys, 11 on both ends.
Yeah.
And then you got a couple guys that are shoo-ins, like your early round picks, like your Teslas, your Tyleek Williams, your Ratledge, guys like that. So if we took the time to do that, it wouldn't be as tough of a decision. There may be some sneaky names on there, like Pascal. Pascal has not played. He may be on the pup list, opening up a spot. We know Mekhi Wingo is back now, so we have to assume that he's not going to be cut. He's going to have a roster spot, but that takes away one of the defensive line roles. So, I think you got guys like Nate Lynn, who was making some noise early on. O'Connor. Who else? Ukwu, who was a guy that we liked a lot last year. I think those guys are going to be competing for that last spot. Yeah, Nate Lynn, O'Connor, Ukwu, and yeah.
You got Ghost over there, bro?
I knew you was got the window open.
Yeah. So I gotta do some more. Well, by that time it'll be Tuesday.
Yeah.
And the roster will be here. Let me ask you, Foster, like, do you have any surprise people that could get cut just in your mind that may not be here? Because I already said mine. I mean, it could be Hooker or Patrick. That would be surprising cuts, notables.
Hooker, I don't know if Hooker is all that surprising, but it would be a I can't even. Hooker's been so shaky that it wouldn't even really rock headlines. It's kind of what I think the headline would be if he makes it, but surprise. I kind of talked about it last week, but I think Reynolds could be, just because he's been around so long and he's a likable guy. He's had some big moments as of lately. Trevor Nowatzki might be an odd man out, with Grant Stewart making a lot of noise and Zach Cunningham coming in this year. Obviously, we have Rodrigo, who will be back eventually, but yeah, I think Trevor Nowatzki could be another one, but nobody. I don't think we're so deep that a big name gets cut. So, but I mean, Nowatzki played a lot last year. Reynolds, played a decent amount. Those are guys those are familiar faces. I'll say that.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Like, there's a show going on Wednesday, the Who Will Be Kings. And I know you're going to cover everything. I may or may not be on the show. Foster, I got to go to Atlanta tomorrow. And got this orientation thing going on. And I am taking my tablet with me. So I may or may not be able to attend that Wednesday show. Just depends on what time I get out of orientation. But definitely I'll be back on Thursday. Thursday evening. If you want to do a show or something Thursday or evening or Friday, I'm with it. I just got a couple of texts from work. Even though I'm not off, it's not looking very good as far as our situation, as far as production, man. I just got a bad text. I'm not gonna be there this week, but more than likely, the long hours are not gonna stop after next week.
So they're not gonna stop? Oh God.
Man. I'll explain to you offline, but it's a lot going on, man. It's a new job, new challenge. And man, it's one of those things where I've been going in at 4:00 in the morning. I'm getting off at 6, 5 in the evening. 5 if I'm lucky. And that hasn't happened that often. So Friday, I got off at 5:30. Started at 4 in the morning. But that Thursday, I worked from 4 in the morning to 7 p.m. So crazy. Anyway, that's not football talk. That's just life. Let's see. The D-back room. We got a lot of D-backs that's vying for a spot. Corners. We got Terrion Arnold. He has a spot secured. DJ Reed has a spot secured. Meek Robinson has a spot secured. Those are your corners and your nickel. As far as the backups, not quite sure how that's going to shake out. You do have Branch secure as your safety. Kirby secure as your safety. And that's about it. Now, from my understanding, you keep 10 because they need backup spots. So you keep 10.
Okay.
I think Maddox is safe.
I think Rock is safe.
I think Rock Sin is safe. That's at 7. But I don't know who else been playing, Foster. I really don't. I haven't been able to watch much preseason. So let's, instead of saying who is getting cut, who's going to fill those 3 spots?
All right. So I think Nick Whiteside has made a viable campaign for himself.
Okay.
That's the young guy out of Saginaw Valley State. You got Morris Norris, who had the scare. So I think he could possibly be a candidate for the PUP list. You just say, hey, wouldn't have got much playing time as is. Make sure he, we use those 4 games and make sure everything's straight. If he, if they valued him going into it to be a possible, roster spot, I think that you hold down that spot for him and put him on the, we'll see where you're at in 4 games. Lauren Strickland, he's a guy that's definitely made his fair share of tackles. I don't know. I don't know if I could grade his performance that well, but he's definitely been active in a lot of plays. And you got a guy like Khalil Dorsey who just got cleared. He got cleared.
He will be on the roster.
Yeah.
He's a gunner, and he plays special teams. I guess he got in the other day, and he was your starting gunner on kickoff. So I think he's fine. I think he's going to be all right.
So we got Terrion Arnold, Branch, Kirby, Reed, Robertson. That's 5. You got Rocky Sin and Maddox. That's 7 right there. Dorsey is 8.
Whiteside 9.
Whiteside possibly 9. Strickland, and then probably I'd say either Hallett or Kennelly. Other than that, Luck Barco, Alan George, Tyson Russell, just fill it there.
they like Hallett's versatility. I do know that.
Okay. Yeah, Hallett I've been seeing. Kennelly, that's the okay. I knew his name was familiar too. So Kennelly is the Grand Valley guy.
Yeah.
And he's got 4 tackles in the preseason. Okay.
Practice squad. Yeah.
Possibly, but you only get 7 of those?
Yeah.
So
could be cut.
Yeah, Hallett's got 10 solo tackles, 3 pass deflections. I thought they had last year's stats up, but they actually have preseason, which is beneficial. Whiteside has 2 pass deflections and 9 solo. No picks. We did not pick a single pass off this entire preseason,
That's crazy,
or recover a single fumble, I believe. So
that's crazy. Yeah.
You would have liked to see more standout moments from the reserve guys, because I mean, you're going against 3rd string, 4th string quarterbacks, so it's not like I don't even put interceptions on such a high pedestal, because you are playing with such the bottom of the barrel, but to still not manage an interception, not even one that was like turned that was negated for a penalty, I don't think so. I don't know. That's another. I'll be glad when Kirby and Branch are back out there, and we have the real deal in the playing center field. But anyways,
I know this is off subject. As far as, well, no, it goes with Zadarius Smith. What are we doing? Hey man, we let you get Cash Doll back, bro. Get back in here.
I think that's over. That I just feel like that should have happened by now.
It's taking too long.
I see Judon signed with the Dolphins.
Yeah.
So that's one edge rusher off the board. Zadarius obviously being the highest, unless I think he's probably higher than Clowney, or
he's the highest defensive end on the board.
Yeah.
That's still free agent.
So anybody that doesn't feel comfortable with their edge room and is thirsty, they have an opportunity to go after Zadarius, because he's not retired. He's going to play somewhere throughout the year. It's such a long year, and there's so many injuries. It's just a matter of time for him. So I think he's just waiting that out at this point. But I'm guessing
game is in 2 weeks, bro.
You said what?
First game is in 2 weeks. We should have had. Anybody should have had him by now.
Right. So I realize that's why I really feel like it's more so on him than anything. Otherwise, somebody, even if it was, somebody would have.
Are you mad? Are you mad if you don't get Zadarius Smith?
No, I'm ready to see what ready to see what we look like at this point. I'm ready to see what Marcus Davenport is going to bring for us. I'm ready to see a healthy Hutch as well. We got Muhammad. We got unfortunately we won't have Hassanin because he probably would have
torn pec.
Yeah. Which it sounds like they've kind of tapered back from the initial reports of it being,
Well, CD Deuce had a torn pec, and he came back during the season.
he came back during the season, but he missed a lot of time.
That was from game 2,
right,
till like the first week of the playoffs.
I think he came back against Minnesota before the season ended, actually. But
so with him, with Haseen, that was 3 weeks before the first game. Correct?
Yeah. So there's several, and there's 2 weeks, and then you got a whole 2 weeks before.
He could possibly be back at the end of the season.
Yeah, middle to end, yeah.
So it's not, and they say Aleem McNeil is ahead of schedule.
Yeah, they continue to say that. So he's not on the edge, but he'll certainly help the pass rush. So yeah, I'm at this point. Let's just see what we have. Let's see how long we can get. We can have a healthy Davenport. Maybe we hold our breath all year, and he plays. I think that if he can play a full season, I think he gets 8 to 10 sacks.
Yeah. So we're nearing the hour mark. I mean, we can talk all day about this because me and Foster we haven't done a Bleachers to Speakers show in quite a while. We've been doing the Michigan sports reports every now and then, the Michigan Uncut, Michigan on Wax, that show where we talk about a bunch of other stuff, but a bunch of other sports all in one. But we haven't done a Bleachers to Speakers show, so we had to stop what we was doing today, talk about it, and I'll give you a chance, Foster, to put a bow on this, man. What do you have to say? I mean, let me ask you before you put the bow. Like, how do you feel any different about the way the preseason has gone? Like, I mean, for me, whether it's gone like it has or they're going undefeated, I wouldn't feel any kind of way because I know our starters didn't play, and I need to see what's going on in the regular season. So, how are you feeling? Because people are saying, hey, this has been a horrible preseason for the Lions, and I'm just thinking, it's just preseason.
Yeah, we went 4-0 and lost every game. So what do we really take from preseason? I think the Chiefs went 0-4 last year and they made the Super Bowl. So not much to be made by it. Of course, you want to take it as an opportunity to. I think that some of the things that we really needed to see, we got a chance to see. We got to see a little bit of Tyreek Williams. We got to see Tate Ratledge. We got to see Isaac TeSlaa set the world on fire. Outside of that, there just wasn't going to be much that we were going to be able to take from it. So yeah, I'm just happy that the next time we see the Lions, it'll be something that we can actually evaluate and make a determination on how good the team can be. So, it was rough. It was rough. We also got to see the demise of Hendon Hooker, unfortunately.
Man, that was ugly.
That was one of the big things. That was another probably number 1A, 1B on the list of things that we needed to see. But once again, that is the backup, which can be important. I'm not going to act like it's just totally not important, but nonetheless, there's nothing that I can pull from preseason that would make me suggest that week 1 the team is not ready. So we'll see. There may be some rust, and we will certainly talk about that and not act like it's not a thing. We're addressing that right now, for good, for good or for bad. But we will just have to see when the season starts.
Yeah. I don't put a lot of stock in preseason. I do put a lot of stock in certain people. It gives us a chance to look at some of the rookies. It gives us a chance to also see who's not being played in preseason, because that lets me know they're very vital and too precious to play in preseason. If you see Terrion Arnold in the preseason game, do you worry? You know what I'm saying? Now that he hasn't played in any, you're kind of like, okay, he doesn't really need the work, which is a good sign. So also, if you see any of the starters out there, it makes you think, because you're sitting down your starters, and if you see anybody out there, it's like there's something wrong, right? So I don't put a lot of stock in the preseason. I think it's entertaining. I think it's a market ploy as well, to get people interested in football season. I didn't rush to the TV to see it this year because I've been working so much, but it is what it is as far as preseason. So before we get out of here, though, I want to remind everyone to subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube and follow us on all the aggregators for your audio fix. All you have to do is type in Bleachers to Speakers, FFSN, and that's in any platform where you can listen to a podcast. You can search us there. Make sure you hit that notification bell on and make sure you download those episodes. It was something else I was going to mention, but I can't even remember, man. It's been so long. Foster, man, I'm losing my mojo, man. I haven't done this in so long, man. It just, I got to get on the air more. Got to get on the air more. Definitely going to do it next week. We're going to talk about something next week at some point. We got 2 weeks until game 1. And who we playing first game? Packers, right?
Correct.
4:00 game, I believe. For now, sure. I know it's at Lambeau, and I like to get that Lambeau game out the way when it's still warm. I don't want to go up there cold. So, yeah. So make sure you subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube. Oh, that's what I almost mentioned. We are close to 300 subscribers. We've been trying to get there for the longest. I made a post on Facebook, and I had everybody responding for some odd reason, and I snuck that in there. Please subscribe to Bleachers Speakers on YouTube. Foster, if you can look that up and see how many of those people follow my direction, because we was at 275 when I said it. I want to see if any one of them did it, and if not, I'm going back to that post, and I'm going off.
We are at 277.
So 2 people on that post went there. Okay. Oh, well. If you're listening, and you're always listening, I need you to go to YouTube, go to Bleachers and Speakers, go to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, tell a friend, hit like, watch a video, comment, like, share, do all of that. Sound about right? It ain't hard to do.
Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop letting shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back.